Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. Welcome to our Friday question and answer class. We meet every Friday, and I take your questions regarding American English pronunciation, American accent, American intonation, anything that will help you to improve your overall communication in American English. Thank you so much to those of you who've subscribed to the channel, and especially to my channel members. I really appreciate that you've joined the channel, and I'm excited to offer you some additional live classes. Our members only class will be on Sunday at 11 o'clock Seattle time. And of course, we'll continue to have our Friday class open to everyone, which happens at 12 o'clock Seattle time. So today at the beginning of class, I want to talk a little bit about a few questions that I've received this week in comments. And typically in your comments, I try to answer your questions, give you an explanation, send you to a resource on my website, speechmodification.com, or to a video that would give you some information for your question, or encourage you to come to our Friday class, of course, where you can ask your questions live. But some of the recent requests, many of them are for the Word of the Day series. So I'll be continuing to bring you a new video each day, looking at a specific word that you've requested, breaking down how to pronounce it, looking at accent error patterns, etc. And we do a lot of that here in our Friday class as well. But there were a couple of questions this week that were all sort of related and a little bit outside of the, they weren't about single words and they weren't really good for the Word of the Day series. So I'm going to cover those quickly at the beginning of class. You can ask your questions at any time in the comments, and I'll be getting to those in just a moment. So the first question I had was someone was talking about the phrase, pick it up. And they were saying that it was really challenging to say the it in the middle of pick it up. And what I wanted to say is that in this phrase, we tend to link pick it and up all together, and it ends up sounding a little bit more like one word. So there's kind of a theme in the questions that came up this week, and they're all related to linking. I do have a playlist about reduced sounds and linking, and a lot of exercises for that in my Real Talk playlist as well. But in this particular phrase, one thing that might help you to be able to say that little word it, which is unstressed, it goes by pretty quickly, I can see why you find that difficult, is to think about how we actually say this in connected speech. We'll say it more like pick it up. That's because when we link the pick and it, the K kind of jumps on to the beginning of the next word. I don't really have a break there. It's not pick it up. It's pick it up, pick it up. But if I think about and visualize this in the middle, that might help me to integrate that in this phrase. And then the reason I wrote a D there instead of a T is that when I link the word it to the next word starting with a vowel, it becomes a flap T, and it sounds more like a D. And again, I can either think kid or I can think kid up, and that way I run it all together, pick it up, and I can move between those sounds more easily. Now, going from the p at the lips to the k in the back to the d behind the teeth back to the p is probably part of the challenge that you have there. So just go slowly, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, until you can sequence those sounds. So that's one of the questions that came in that I wanted to address. Another related to linking was one of my viewers was saying she was really having difficulty moving from the word these to the word things, or other words that end with a Z and the next word starts with a TH. And again, that's probably because when I say these, my tongue is behind my teeth and I have to be ready to put my tongue forward for the things. So even though all of our speech is somewhat linked and connected, I would say between these things, I'm not quite as smooth and linking, because the TH, to be able to be accurate with that, I have to have that correct position. So for this, I would practice saying thing, and then I would just do the Z sound of these without the rest of the word. So I would try thing, z thing, z thing, z thing, is thing, Not z thing. That's kind of got an extra sound in there. So it's just z thing, and then is thing, these thing. And I think also, again, because we have to do th for the th sound for the these and the th sound for the thing, it's hard to go back and do that z sound, especially if some languages have a tendency to, for their accent error pattern, do more of a Z sound than a TH sound. And so when there's a Z in close proximity to your TH, your tongue just wants to do either just the TH or it wants to switch those THs to Zs. It's much harder to say these things than it is just to say things, because when I'm starting on the TH, I can get into the position. So trying other combinations like is that, was that, and just really focusing on going slowly enough to get both positions. These might be a little easier to start with because they don't have that TH at the beginning. So I hope that helps you with the Z-TH combo. I may make some additional videos to cover that pattern. And I know I've talked about it in this class before because it's true for many people that that's a tough combination. Then one more, and I'll get to your questions after that. Last question was, again, about, I think, related to linking. This viewer was asking about phrases like in there, all that, and then, etc., where one ends with an N and the next begins with a TH. And the viewer was commenting that he hears native speakers leaving that TH off. He was thinking that, in there sounded a little bit more like in there. In that, all that sounded more like that, all that. And in my opinion, and then there's another example. Native speakers do say that TH sound, but it might be changed by the context. So particularly when I have an N to TH combo, I'm going to be doing these two sounds very closely together. And I'm not going to do in that with my tongue up and then my tongue between my teeth. I'm going to do it more like in that, where my tongue is in an in-between position for the two sounds right from the start, because otherwise I have to make a big break. If I go in that or on there, I can't do that and link them. So to practice it, I would say practice starting with the TH, that, and then put your tongue like you're going to start TH, and then start your word in. So that, in that. What you want to feel is that your tongue is closing off further back for the N rather than the tip of the tongue. And in some cases, like and then I went, and then we do leave off that D, and the TH is a little rougher, right? I'm not saying and then, I'm saying and then I went, and then I went. So my TH is kind of not perfect. It's a little bit of a sound of sort of an NTH together. So if you're noticing people really leaving it out, I would say that maybe a dialect of English or slightly sloppy casual English that you don't really want to imitate. If everyone around you does that, then it's appropriate for the context in which you're speaking. I would say practicing those combinations and getting that kind of easily linked, all that, in that, and then, so that you're kind of making both sounds together so that you can smoothly say those. Okay, so thank you to all of you who've left comments and questions, requests on the videos. I'm working my way through the Word of the Day series, and I'll get to your word very soon, or maybe not super soon because I have a huge list, but I've been really appreciating all of your questions and comments. It really helps me know what to cover in this class and what new videos to make for you. So thank you again, and let's get to your questions now live. Thank you for being patient while I was answering those previously asked questions. Hi, nice to see you, Olvia and Ahmed. Halim asks about the word multiple and discussion. Yes, Halim, I have multiple in my list, and I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it yet. I have been working my way through, but you have a lot of requests. So the word multiple has first syllable stress, multiple. And in this word, I think because of the blend, the LT blend, I do say that T as a release sound, tipple. The first vowel in multiple is a tense, not a tense, but a stressed schwa, mul. Mul. So I lift up to the L, multiple. And then I have an I sound, or I could do a schwa here as well, multiple or multiple. Doesn't make much difference. Then I go to my dark L, which may or may not have a little schwa before it. Multiple. Yes, so that PLE, we have kind of the syllabic L there, but that's why I'm saying the dark L with the schwa. And then your other word was discussion. So in a discussion, we have second syllable stress. And this first DI could, again, say di or duh. Basically, I just want to have a very short, lax vowel there. You can almost think about it as not having much vowel at all. Like I'm going right to this of discussion. So discussion. This vowel again is a stress schwa, and then this SS is an SH sound. So my SION just is shun, with, again, not much vowel, a little bit of a schwa. So discussion. Doesn't really look exactly like it's written, so I can see why that would require some discussion. Great. Okay, we have a question about the binomial, the ins and outs, like all one word. Okay, yeah. So for example, the ins and outs of pronunciation. Because we have a vowel after the word the, in this case, then we say it at like the, so the ins and outs. And is one of the words that we typically reduce in connected speech. And in this case, we don't do much with the D, we don't do much with the vowel. So I would write this as one word, the in, and because I'm linking from an E to an I have a little bit of a glide there. I don't have to say that in a really pronounced way, but that's how I link it, the in. If I tried to do the in, two distinct vowels, then I'm going to have more of a break. So the ins and outs. I'll just write out that way, or maybe that way, outs, the ins and outs, or the in and out. What did you ask? The ins and outs. Yes, sorry, I forgot my S. Okay, so ins, the S says Z because it is after a voice sound. Outs, the S says S because it's after a voiceless sound. So the ins and outs of how to pronounce the ins and outs. Good request. Thank you. I hope that helped you. I hope that answered what you were looking for in terms of how we link that and where it gets reduced in that phrase. All right, we have another question. How am I? I'm great. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here with all of you. It's been so fun to have these classes and to see some of you returning week after week. I really appreciate it. Olvia is asking about dysgeusia and ageusia. Okay. So those are new words to me. So I'm going to write them and then use my dictionary to help me, because I want to make sure that I'm following the correct pronunciation of those. Dysgeusia. I mean, I'm guessing right now on pronunciation because I'm not familiar with them. So the zia, I'm pretty sure is probably going to have that ending. But let's look. So I think Olvia's already looked it up. She knows the IPA. She knows how to use the dictionary as a good resource. And for those of you who don't do that as often, I would say one of my favorite dictionaries is the Oxford Learners Dictionary, and that's at oxfordlearnersdictionaries.com. I like it because it shows British English and American English, and it uses IPA. Whatever dictionary you use, as long as you know the symbols for it and learn to what they represent, the sounds they represent, it's a really useful tool. Also, it helps you, I'm trying to talk and spell at the same time. It helps you because you can often hear, you can listen to it All right, so it doesn't have your word in this dictionary. So I'm going to just do a Google search for it. It's probably, is it a medical or chemical term, Olivia? Distortion of sense of taste. Oh, I see why that comes up. So we've been hearing in the news about the symptom of loss of taste and smell. I misspelled it. That might have been part of my problem. Okay, so sorry. I'm going to look for the pronunciation. And we'll look at Merriam-Webster. That's another good dictionary source. All right, so they don't follow the same IPA symbols that I use. So we'll listen to it first of all. Okay. Maybe I misspelled it. I'm sorry. Thank you for patiently waiting. I may have misspelled it in my search on Oxford Learners, in which case maybe it's actually there. Yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. I'll get back to you, Olivia. I don't want to take too much more time futzing around with the dictionary. Here I'm advising you to do it, and I'm not being very careful with it. But the DYS is probably dis, and the A of agusia is probably A in this case, because it's going to be highlighting the prefix as a non. I'll get, like I said, I'll check that out and get you a better answer than this in the next class, or maybe that'll be something I'll make a video for, because I'm sure other people are looking that one up right now because it's something that's going on in the news. Okay, let's look at Rose's question. She wants to know about the pronunciation of elm and bulk. And so the both of these have the dark L in them. Elm is going to have the vowel eh, like red tent, but because I'm doing L into the L, I will still hear the eh, but there's a little bit of an L, like a tiny schwa before that L. So elm. If you think about just saying the name of the letter L, and then putting a on, elm, that might actually be an easier way than thinking about the vowel sounds. Kind of a way to fool your brain that you're just saying the same thing as L, elm. Also, you can try a word like tell, and then put the M on if the LM is the problem, and then say telm, and then leave the T off. Telm, elm. That might help you, I hope. And then bulk, all. Again, it's a schwa before a dark L that kind of has a schwa. Bulk, all. So visualizing it as an ull. It's the same sound that we have in like the word dull or skull. So making sure that you're just making one schwa and then going to your dark L, bulk. You might also be having some issues with going from the L to another consonant, and that can be challenging. So maybe trying it without the K first, like bulk. Hopefully that helps you, Rose. Thanks for the question. Okay, we have another question about can and can't. Yes, so I do have a video and a lesson on speech modification for can and can't. So I'll give you the short version now, and then you can check out that video later and get more practice and details on it. Basically, the difference between can and can't is in how we use them. If I'm saying I can and I can't, I can say them both with vowel a, and the difference is that this one has a T. But in reality, we make a stop T on can't. We don't say can't very often. And we use that pure vowel. So you just want to make a short N and then stop your sound. Can't. Versus can is going to be longer. But most of the time, unless I'm saying I can, yes, I can, and can is stressed, this vowel is going to change, and it's going to be more of an eh or almost no vowel at all. It'll sound more like can. I can go, I can talk. And so the way you can tell which one someone is saying is this one's going to be very short and have no vowel or a reduced vowel. I can talk to you, I can explain, versus I can't talk to you, I can't explain. So you won't hear that T, but you will hear the clear vowel ah and a short stopped T, short N stopped T. Can't, I can't. That's definitely a question that people frequently ask because they can't tell if people are saying can or can't. And it's confusing because the spelling looks like we should clearly be able to hear that T on can't. And oftentimes we don't do that. We don't say the T. Same thing for the word don't. Other words that end in T, we often use that stop sound. Great question. Thank you. Okay. Dana, hi, nice to see you. She's asking about light bulb, golf, and golf. So she and Rose are on the same wavelength today with the L sounds. Light bulb. Bulb is just like bulk, where it has the schwa and the L. And then we just have to go bulb, bulb. It's a little hard, bulb, bulb. I might stop that B or I might release it. Light bulb, light bulb. I do a stop T there, light bulb. So again, my O, my schwa, before my dark L. And then Gulf, the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf, golf, I'm gonna go golfing. I think we kind of do those the same. They're both like the bulb, they're both a schwa. So I'm golfing in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. I could double check the dictionary and see, but the way I pronounce them, I use a schwa for both. Golf. This one, the only difference is you could maybe have a little more of an ah or an golf, ulf. Let's use the dictionary. Let's see if I can redeem myself from earlier where my dictionary usage was very poor for Olvia, who wanted my help. Okay, so we'll look up golf, Golf, and we will see slow internet. Okay, so while we're waiting, we're going to just reload that. Golf. I don't know why my internet is so slow. Thank you for waiting. That's a great question. And I think a lot of times words that have the different spelling but the same pronunciation can be confusing. All right, I'm not sure what's taking so long. Maybe I'm hogging all the bandwidth by streaming. It's just not the day for the dictionary. Let's see, let's use the iPhone for the dictionary instead. So I have it bookmarked. That makes it easy for me to look something up quickly. Okay, so golf. Yeah, so they have golf with the ah vowel, golf. But I think that's really hard to say, like golf. I don't think we do so much of an ah there. Let's listen to it. Golf. So he is saying it kind of more like golf, but I don't think I say it that way. I think I say it the same as golf with a schwa. So there are multiple options for how to pronounce it. Yes, and so the golf is showing with the schwa, golf. Golf. Okay, so not one that I necessarily agree with the dictionary on, but that was the same conclusion that I was coming to, that if there is a difference, you might have a little more of an ah in this golf. Okay, great. Thanks for being patient while I was trying to model using the dictionary. And we have some more questions. Question for Mountain. Yes, so I recently talked about the word curtain and certain, and I've looked at some other words with the NT, AN combination. So mountain has the ow diphthong. So you can think about it kind of like an ow, mountain. And then what we do is this one is a stop T, mountain. So we don't really say it. We just do a very short N and then another short N. So I'm going to close off for the T, mountain, but I'm just going to keep my tongue in that N position and make a little break between them. Mountain. If there's any vowel in there, it's a little bit of a schwa sound. The spelling is pretty misleading. So I think thinking about it more like that, mountain, is going to help you. You can get more lengthy explanation and details on that if you are on my channel page and you search under curtain or certain. You'll see me talking about that same combination. Great, thank you for that question. Next question is about the difference between author and offer. So they have the same sounds except the F versus TH sound. So they both have the ah rounded ah vowel, looks like this in IPA. And then for author, you want to make sure, that your tongue is between your teeth, author. And even though this says OR, it's an ER sound, just an author. Versus offer, your F sound, you have the upper teeth and the lower lip connecting. So just trying, maybe starting with that sound first, like fur versus thur. It's kind of like this word fur or this word fur, same pronunciation. And thur, like as in third. So starting with that will help you make the difference. And then you just add your offer, author. If you have a substitution, an accent pattern where you're making an F instead of a TH, then working on the TH sound will probably help you. But otherwise, those words are exactly the same. Great question. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. We have... you don't have to apologize, Olivia. It was my bad. I will get that information for you and help you with that. Maybe what I can do is make a little recording for you and send it to you so you can use that for practice. Okay, a question whether would and would are homophones in American English, and yes, they are. I would like to purchase some wood. They both have the vowel and no difference there except for the spelling and meaning. So same sounds. Great question. And then we have, Dana looked up dysgeusia correctly, but agousia should have agousia. She used dictionary.com. Thank you so much. Yes, okay, so the A, I think we sometimes say like, I'm trying to think of another prefix where the A means not, where if we're doing the dis and the we might highlight the by saying A, which is not how we would use it in connected speech. It's just to do the contrast between the two, is my guess. Could be that I'm incorrect on that, but thank you so much for looking that up for us, Dana. I appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so we have a question, the difference between run and ran. So the vowel sounds are, this one is schwa, sounds like This one is sounds like the sound, it's the vowel in black cat. So I ran for a long time. I will run again tomorrow. So one thing that can help when you have two words that are just different by the vowel and you have trouble with them is to use another word with the same vowel and to pair it and to help you pull these two apart to hear the differences and make the differences. So I might say, for example, a fun run or such a fun run. All of these are the schwa sound or this schwa. This is just stressed and unstressed. such a fun run, then I get the and I stay on that, versus the plan ran, or ran with the van. Something else where I'm not going to have much trouble between the difference between fun and plan. That's easier for me to hear. So if I have fun run versus plan ran, then that may help pull those two apart. And it also helps me get my vowel correct if I'm matching it. So finding a word where you can say the vowel. Cat is another one. The cat ran. It was such a run. That's usually a good strategy for being able to pull those apart. I often show that with words like men and man. That's kind of my technique for being able to differentiate those well and pronounce them and hear them well as well. Thank you for that question. John is asking about the words murderer and people, and then he's apologizing. People often ask me about murder and murderer, and I'm going to make a video about it. And I think like we have to pronounce these. It doesn't necessarily, there's no negative association with learning to pronounce a certain word. These things get talked about. So you don't have to apologize. Let's break it down and help you with it. It's very hard. Murder is hard enough, but murderer is even harder. That's because we have all of these sounds together. One thing that will help you is if you start from the it's the same sound 3 times. So I'm going to have my and then erder. So again, what I want to do is get into that position and just stay there and make little movements for the other parts. So mer. My tongue cannot stay in the for the M. Mer. My der. My tongue, the front of my tongue has to move a little to get that D, but I can mostly be back in that position. And then just another erderer, murderer, murderer. This one, the is probably the hardest. So you can just try. Again, building it from the back might also be a strategy. Durer, murderer. Yeah, it's basically just a hard word and probably always will be somewhat. Slowing it down, breaking it apart, and doing the different sounds in sequence can help you. Your other word, people, will erase murderer, so we're not associating it with people. How about people? People just has the E vowel, first syllable stress, and then pull has a P sound and then the syllabic L. So I do have a video about the syllabic L that talks about words like little and people that helps you do that O. So you just want to start in a schwa position and keep the back of the tongue down and lift the front of the tongue for the O for the L. O, pull. So the P is just closing my lips and still performing that O sound. So again, building from the back might help. O, pull, people. It's not easy, and it's a kind of unnatural L for a lot of people. So maybe working on that in other words like bull, other places where you do that schwa on the L, like we were talking about at the beginning today with Rose's words, bulk, and Dana's words as well. Okay. We have a question for the word asymptomatic. There's an A. There's a word that has the A sound for the showing non, so not symptomatic. I did cover this in Word of the Day recently. So again, for a more detailed explanation, I would go to my channel page and search under asymptomatic or search in the Word of the Day playlist. But we'll talk about it briefly. So we also talked about symptom and symptomatic. Symptomatic. So asymptomatic is going to have a stress on the first syllable to highlight that it's asymptomatic instead of symptomatic. And then it's going to have stress on the penultimate syllable, second to last. That has the black cat vowel. We also say this T as more of a flap, like symptomatic dick versus a sharp T. We don't release that T. So just like in words like automatic, problematic, kind of practicing that matic at the end will help you. Length and then short. Symptom, we don't really say that P. We don't release it. It's not symptom. So I just symptom. This also is kind of like a flap. So I would think if you think about it as symptom. No, I do have to close for the P. So I just don't release it. Symptom. So try simp. It's kind of like when we were talking about that curtain or the, what was the word with the NT? Where we have to do important, we have to do that stopping, not releasing. So really short M, symptomatic, asymptomatic. Okay. A lot of challenging combinations of sounds in that word, which is why that was something that I addressed in the Word of the Day playlist, because a lot of people are talking about symptoms, being asymptomatic. I've been trying, as some of you may have seen in some of my recent videos, to talk about some of the terminology that's on the forefront of the news and a lot of our conversations lately, like immunity, vaccine, Moderna, etc. So you can see that I've added a few recent videos to talk about some of these topics that we're talking about in the news and that have a lot to do with COVID-19. Thanks for that question. Okay, so we'll be wrapping up soon. We're running a little long today. Thanks for staying with me, and I'll try to get to everyone's question before I wrap up. We'll be back again tomorrow with another word of the day, and next Friday with another question and answer class. So if for some reason I don't get to your question today, I will try to follow up with you, and you can also attend next week. And for those of you who are channel members, we'll be meeting on Sunday, and you can ask any additional questions you have then as well. So we have a question, when can we use and pronounce the verb appreciate? So it just means to be thankful for, to have appreciation for. So I appreciate your question. And to pronounce appreciate, we have second syllable stress, the tense vowel E. So thinking about it like pre. This letter A is an example of an A prefix that sounds like so vowel schwa, a pre. This CI says the SH sound with an E, she, just like the word she. And then this is just like the word ate, like I ate something, or the number 8. And I don't typically release that T, so I'm not necessarily saying appreciate, although I can, but Americans will often use a stop T there, appreciate. So short, long, short. I appreciate your patience as I tried to answer all of your questions today. Okay. Another question about the words fair versus fur. Okay, so this one, I think you're just talking about the sounds, or tell me if you mean a different word, because this one isn't really a word. It can be at the ends of words. We do say for, like fur sometimes, or maybe you're thinking of this fur or this fur. Anyway, let me know what you meant by this. But fair has the air diphthong, and you're right, it's going to be longer. It's going to have the tense A, and then it's going to glide into the air, fair. Whereas if this were a word, it would just have the diphthong or the vowel by itself, fur versus air, fair. You can see more about these different versions of the and air in my American R playlist. That should help you. Okay, we have a question about the word versatile. So are you asking, are you asking about this word, versatile? Because you capitalized it, so I'm not sure, maybe there's some proper noun with that V, like a brand name or something. If we're talking about the word versatile, like I would like to have versatile job skills. We have first syllable stress. We have the sound. So it's just like the ver in the word version, versa. This one, just like in vice versa, has the schwa sound. So it sounds like a short versa, versatile. And then this one is a flap, and it kind of goes right from that flap into the dark L. So there's maybe a little schwa there, or maybe just an L, versatile. Just like we were talking about with people, I go right from the flap T into the L, dull, versatile. In my flap T video, I talk about words like little and Seattle, where we do the same dull at the end, versatile. Okay, and then you had another question, whether it's okay to use a stop T in the word advantage. I probably wouldn't use a flap there. I would either advantage, leave it off, which a lot of times Americans will leave the T sound off in words like internet or international. Or so advantage, I would just go right from the N, or advantage. Yeah, if I did advantage, I guess you could use a flap there. I typically wouldn't. I would either say advantage or advantage. But there's probably nothing wrong with it. Listen to the people around you where you are and hear kind of what they tend to prefer or do. If you're wanting to to sound like others and be well understood by the others around you, and then you can make a choice. Some of these words that have different ways of pronouncing them, I'm typically presenting what I know from the West Coast of the US, the Midwest of the US, and then TV and movies. So it's a fairly broad, usually a fairly broad pronunciation option or multiple options, but sometimes being more similar to the area where you are you have an advantage of listening to native speakers around you. Okay. Okay. So we had a clarification. He or she did mean fur rather than fur. So same pronunciation though. So you spelled it in the way that it sounds. Very good. Thanks for clarifying that. Okay. Question about the word probably, on how to pronounce it. I do have a video for probably as well. It's a question that people have asked before. We have first syllable stress. The O says the clear ah vowel, pra, and then this A says schwa, probably, probably. So thinking about it like kind of bub and then lee, probably. Yes, that's one where I'll hear people stressing the incorrect syllable. So they may say it more like probably instead of probably, or they may have an error on that letter O, saying something more rounded instead of the vowel. Okay, wow, wonderful questions today on a long class. Thank you for sticking with me. I'll be back again next Friday with another free question and answer class. Next week is Thanksgiving, but we will still meet on Friday. If you have a question, request for word of the day, you can always leave those in the comments on any of my videos. I do go through and read those, respond to them, give people answers and resources. Thanks so much for being a part of class today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, guys. Hope to see you soon.